Okay, and hello and welcome to the Level 2 Calculator answers for the holiday work. This is practice paper 2009 to 2010. Okay, question 1 is all about significant figures and decimal places. Carefully using the fraction button on your calculator, put in those numbers and you should get 5.0215 and so on. To 3 decimal places, there's your decimal points, 1, 2, 3. Look at the 5, and because it's a 5 or more, you round up. So 5.022 at the end there. 2 significant figures, 1, 2, there's your line. You look at the 2 and you leave it alone. You look at the 2 and you leave it alone, so it would be 5.0. And you do need to write that 0 because it's 2 significant figures. Right, on your calculator, do 4.5 times pi and then S to D button. To 3 significant figures, it's 14.1. Be very careful with this one. Press the fraction button first before you do square root 3 down arrow over 2, because it's got to be root 3 divided by 2, not root 3 divided by 2, so be careful of that. And you get 0.866 if you do it to 3 significant figures. Okay, Mrs. Collins sold a book. She paid a fee of 12%, so 12% of 60, do that in your calculator, it's £7.20. She then sold it to Mr. Hudson, who made a profit of £27. So the fractional profit is 27 over 60. To make it into a percentage, times by 100. If you do that in your calculator, it's 45%. Question 3 is about scale. 1 centimetre is 2.5 kilometres. So for 12.5 centimetres, times it by 2.5, and you get 31.25 kilometres. To go backwards from kilometres to centimetres, divide by 2.5 and then you get 9. Square of length 2 centimetres, the perimeter is going to be 8 centimetres. To find out what that actually is, you times it by 2.5, the converting rate, and you get 20 kilometres there. Okay, a question on petrol here. 252 kilometres with 8 kilometres for each litre means that she gets through 31.5 litres there. To work out the kilometres per litre, do the number of kilometres divided by the number of litres, and that will get you 7 kilometres per litre. A couple of ways to work out this next one. You could work out the difference in what they spend on each. So 98 times 31.5, 98 times 36. Or you could just work out the difference in the amount of petrol, which is 4.5 litres, and if you times that by 98p per litre, you get £44.41. So 2 approaches there. The last one is the speed, distance, time. So we want to work out distance, so speed times time. Speed is 72 times time, which is 3 hours and 20 minutes. Not 3.2, you've got to think 3 hours and 20 minutes. So use your shift fraction button to get the mixed number. If you multiply that, you get 240 kilometres, which seems about reasonable if you're driving quite quickly for 3 and a bit hours. Okay, this is for 4 people. You need 2.5 lots of 4 people to make 10 people. So you do 300 times 2.5, which gives you 750 millilitres. Likewise here, you've only got 280 grams of caster sugar. So how many lots of 4 people? We end up with 3.5 lots of 4 people. So 3.5 lots of 4 is 14 people can be fed. Part B is about ratio, so remember, write out the ratio. Toffees to fruit centres is 3 to 5. Now we're told there are 24 toffees, which means your multiplier is 8. So remember, ratio is all about the multiplier. 5 8 is 40, so there are altogether 64 sweets in that. Now if there's 4 fruit centres eaten, it means it's 24 to 36. So divide by 12 to simplify, and you get 2 to 3. Remember to simplify your ratio fully there. Okay, number 6 is one where you can reach for your new sharp pencil. Scale factor 3. So from here, 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be triple the length from this point. Likewise here, 1, 2, 3. Triple the length, 1, 2, 3. Now those two connect together, and then we'll do this one. So 1, 2, 2, 3. So join that line up there. Now if that length is 1 in the unenlarged shape, in the enlarged shape it's going to be 3, or you could draw your line out and then join that up to make y. But scale factor 3, it's 3 times the length from the centre of enlargement. S at shape 36, you divide it by the scale factor squared. Because for area squarea, the scale factor is going to be the scale factor squared. So 36 divided by 9 is 4. It's going to be an area of 4. Okay, number 7 is about algebra and simplifying. They're like terms, so add them. Remember, don't change the indices if you're adding or subtracting. Next one. First of all, multiply the coefficients. To get 10, don't forget your invisible 1. A times a squared is a cubed. I wonder how many of you forgot the cubed and wrote squared. Remember, if you multiply, you add the indices. This one, if we square 4a squared, it's 4a times 4a, which is 16a squared. And then we minus 4a squared. 16 minus 4 is 12a squared. So don't forget, if you square this, you square the coefficient and the variable. 4 is going to 12 3 times. 3a. Right, multiplying out the brackets, drop the 7p down. That's got nothing to do with the brackets. And then multiply by minus 2. Minus 2 times 3p is minus 6p. Negative times positive is negative. Negative 2 times 4 is minus 8. So don't forget you're timesing them both by negative 2. Collect like terms. 7p minus 6p is p minus 8. Factorise is bracketise. So think, I'm going to make this into something with brackets. 12 and 18, the highest common factor is 6. 6 goes into 12 2 times. 6 goes into 18 3 times. Make sure you check if it works. 12p, 18r, it works. So 6, 2p plus 3r for that one. Okay, number 8 is about averages. The range is the largest, take away the smallest, which is 2.4. The median, now if you wrote them all out in order of size, you'd be looking for the middle one, which is in between 17.5 and 17.7, which means the median is 17.6, halfway in between those two. The mean, so you add them all up, divide by how many there are, so think about the mean clown. There he is. Add them all up and you get 712 over 5 on your calculator. There are 8 of them, so divide by 8 and you get 17.8 seconds. And the winner beats second place. Now the winner in a swimming race is the person with the lowest time, which was 15.9. Second place was 16.5. So they actually won by 0.6 seconds. Okay, number 9 is about a straight line scatter plot. Remember in maths, a lot of these scatter plots are straight lines. In science they may well be curved, but in maths they're pretty much always straight line graphs. Carefully plot the points, wherever they may be. And then, because it's a downward sloping correlation, we say it's negative. And what does that mean? Well, it means that if you run slower, you jump less far. Or, if you run faster, you jump further. Which kind of makes sense, really. The line of best fit, just a straight line going through the middle. Try and get the same number of crosses on top and on bottom. And then for the last one, there'll be a range of different answers here. But if it's 14.9, draw it up to the line and across. And I reckoned it was around about 8.8. But again, if you're close to about between, 8.5 and 9, then give yourself a mark there. Only if you've shown where you take your reading. Okay, number 10 is regular polygons. A 10-sided polygon is called a decagon. Think decade for that one. W is an exterior angle. To calculate the exterior, you do 360 divided by the number of sides, which is 36. X is the interior, which is 180 take away the exterior, so it's 144. This is an isosceles triangle, so we know that x is 144, so these two add up to 36. So one of them divided by 2 is 18. And then finally, here we've got an F angle. That one is 36 as well. So they add up to 72. Straight line is 180. So that's 72. So Z is 108. Always check with angles that they look about right. Is it an acute angle? Is it an obtuse angle? Do they look about the right size in relation to each other? Okay, number 11 is all about circles. Circumference of a circle is 2 pi r. So that in this case it's 2 times pi times 3, which do in your calculator, and always give your answer to 3 significant figures, which in this case is 18.8. Area of a circle is pi r squared. Pi r squared, yeah, might be a good way of remembering. Which in this case is pi times 3 squared, which if you round to 3 significant figures is 28.3. Now because yours has been shrunk, I gave you this one, it's 5 and 3, which means the area of the rectangle is 15, and the shaded area is the area of the circle, take away the area of the rectangle, which is 13.3 centimetres squared. But remember with circles, 3 significant figures, and remember these 2 formulae. So number 12 is about Pirate's Point, a bearings question. So remember, whenever you're doing bearings, always start at north, always go clockwise. So starting at north, measuring 075 degrees, just 75 degrees on your protractor, and then go for you, it'll be 6 centimetres for 12 kilometres, and put B round about there. Yeah, that's about right. Draw a north line at B, so that just goes straight up there. You can be really accurate with this by measuring 105 degrees there. Northwest, never ever support West Ham, so we're going northwest up here, but be careful, it's got to be a 45-degree angle. You can't just say roughly that's northwest. Measure 45 degrees from north and go, which for you will be 3 centimetres or 6 kilometres. Join those back up, and then the bearing of that bit is 45 degrees. The bearing for that bit is 225. Remember again, you always go from north, clockwise. If it's go farther than south, switch your protractor around and add on to 180. The total distance is 12 plus 6 plus 10.5, which will be 28.5. Give yourself the mark if you were between 27 and 30, let's say. Oh, and don't be lazy, label your angles, label the lengths, otherwise you will lose marks. Okay, volume is width times depth times height, which in this case is 30. To draw the net, just think carefully about each face. Again, this is a time when you could reach to your spare pencil. It will have a top in this case. Reach for your spare pencil so you can make a nice, accurate drawing. You can label the lengths, be a good idea, just for one of each. Always check when you draw a net that the sides match up. Are they the same length when you fold it up? Will they fit together in the right way? So how many will these fit into a 20 by 15 by 10? Well, if you think there's 20, how many 5s go into 20? 4 do. How many 3s go into 15? 5 do. And how many 2s go into 10? 5 do. So in total, you could fit 100 in. You could also do that by thinking about the area, the whole area of the big box, and dividing it by the area of each block of cheese. Cheese, yes. Okay, number 14 is about straight line graphs. To fill in the table, do 2 times negative 2 plus 4. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4, plus 4 is 0. 2 times 0 plus 4, 2 times 0 is nothing, plus 4 is 4. And then 2 times 2 plus 4 is 8. We'll do the line in a second. The next one, we've got y minus half of negative 4. Half of negative 4 is negative 2. So 4 minus negative 2 is 4 plus 2. So it's 6. Don't forget your rules for negatives there. 4 minus half of 4. Half of 4 is 2. 4 minus 2 is 2. And then the last one, 4 minus half of 8. Half of 8 is 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. When you do the triangle, remember the area of a triangle is half the base times the height, which when we look at it in a second, will be half, the base is 10, the height is 4, which is 20 centimetres squared. You'll only get 1 mark if you do it by counting squares. So your 2 lines go like this. We've got minus 4, minus 4, minus 2, 0, 0, 4, and 2, 8. So it's a nice straight line going up. Do not be lazy. Label like crazy. Then we've got minus 4, 6, 0, 4, and 8, 0 down there. So again, draw that line. Don't be lazy. 4 minus half of x. Remember, at this point you should be checking if you've got any points which are not in the right place. Go back to the table to make sure you've got your negatives right, or whatever mistake you've made, check it. The triangle is this one here. So there's the base, which is 10. Here's the height, which is 4. If you like, you can think of it as a rectangle, and then it's half the area of the rectangle. Okay, number 15 is about model planes. 6 lots of x is 6x. Always put the coefficient first. Is 2 less, so it's x minus 2 in a shop. If he buys 4 lots of it, remember it's 4 times x, but it's also 4 times minus 2, which is minus 8. All together, so we're going to add them together, 6x plus 4x minus 8, which adds up to 58. Collect like terms. Add 8 to both sides. So you've got 10x is 66. Divide by 10, so x is £6.60. For the final part, 3 times £6.60 plus 5 times £4.60, which gives you £42.80 in the model airplanes. So add up your marks. 70% is probably an A, 60% for a B, 50% for a C.